Hello, everyone. My name is Carla Patton. I am the owner of the Harvest Doctor. Not only do I build raised garden beds and install them, I also transform hesitant gardeners into expert gardeners. When you interact with any of my products, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you will transform into a gardening expert. And that's just what I do. It is a gift, and I am very happy to share. One of the things that I want to talk about is the picture on the left, which is my herb garden. I first want to say failure is feedback. Failure is important. I've learned everything I need to know about gardening based off of failing, okay? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with failing because I've learned a million ways how not to do a thing. So if you learn how not to do a thing, then you would essentially learn to do the things that you're supposed to do in order to grow an effective garden. I wanted to show this because I wanted to show all of the mistakes that a first gardener will make. The first mistake, well, first off, I'm going to give you a second just to look at the picture on the left, which is my herb garden. And so you could start by looking at the African marigolds, lemon thyme, chocolate mint. Okay, so this is my herb garden. I'm going to give you a hot second so you can figure out what is wrong with this picture. All right, so the first thing that is wrong with this picture is obviously you can see the bright red circle with the bright red arrow. Number one, yes, it needs a weed barrier. So I use some plain fairing strips. This garden, this raised bed that I built probably cost me no more than $5. So yes, I went the cheap way out. But the problem is I did not get a weed barrier. So that's the most obvious one. So as you can see, the grass and the weeds are coming into my herb garden. The second really big mistake, and I will also say is also equally number one, is I planted mint directly in the soil. Never, ever, ever plant mint directly in the soil. If you've read any of my books or looked at any of my content, you'll know that mint has a very special root system that not only is very crowded on top of each other, it's like each root can bloom into a plant, and the way that it spreads, it is incredibly invasive. So I always plant mint in its own raised bed or in a container, because if not, it will spread all over your grass. It will literally choke out your grass. But you know what though? I want to say too, now that I think back, the mint did eventually take over by year 3, but within the first year, it was nicely compacted, right? So I had a space for my spicy glow basil. I had a space for my sage. I had a space for beets. The beets, they did exceptionally well. So the first year, this grew beautifully. But by year 3, it was definitely a lot. Now, if you do this, I would highly recommend, if you've already done this, planting your mint directly in the soil, I would highly recommend that you pull it up and put it in a container. The second thing, if you're like, I don't want to do that, I would harvest mint every single week, especially around July time. I am in zone 6B or zone 6A. The Western New York region is zone 6A, but I used to live in zone 6B. So around July-ish is when you really need to start harvesting it, and you have to cut it. I will harvest it completely around, or harvest it in a way where it won't like interact with the other plants, or it won't like run into like the other plants. It can give other plants room to grow. That's like the only thing, but I mean, you got to really be on top of it, because even over the winter, you may see they may turn into little sticks. I know rosemary turns into sticks, and it lays dormant, but even in the wintertime, the mint grows. So my the grow through it herb garden guide really kind of like gets more so into a little bit of the science behind the root system of mint, but never ever 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 plant mint. And mint is a perennial, so is lemon thyme. Lemon thyme is a perennial. It comes back year after year. It's not as invasive as mint, but it can be, especially if you got some real good soil, which would be, what do you know what it is? Compost, worm castings, topsoil, right? And a little bit of sand, not place sand, but a little bit of sand. That combination will definitely give your herb garden definitely the nutrients to grow. All right, I will see you in the next lesson. I'm so happy that you're here with me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell someone that you are learning what you are learning in this class, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.